All right. Welcome, everyone. Let's go ahead and get going. Rao, are you ready to give the tech update?
Yes, I am. So the team has been continuing work on the finalization piece. Tomislav has been working on that primarily, and he's getting ever close to completing that task. He's also writing integration tests simultaneously as he's progressing through the task. Sometimes he's running into refactoring that he needs to do in other parts of the code. So that's why it's a little bit slow going. But NotZipper, I think, has done the preparatory work that he needs for merging of state whenever Tomislav is ready. So that work is proceeding well. In terms of the networks, there's a new 12.8 version on the mainnet, and this fixes a bug in the hashing of the blocks. And there's also a corresponding RPC version of that was created. That is, Stas created the RPC version of that. And the testnet is running the 0.13 alpha 3. In terms of the core team work, in addition to finalization and merging that or merging of the state, the other piece that Will has been spending quite a bit of time on is registry update as a soft fork. And this is important and actually quite useful for us in future to be able to say if there is any problem in the network, this is not going to be, we shouldn't have to bring down the network for multiple days or something like that. We should be able to do a lot of changes as a soft update or soft fork or whatever you want to call it. So at this time, we're not so with this code, that's a substantial benefit in terms of being resilient to any situations on the network. We'll probably have a session for the community in the next couple of weeks once they're done with the coding and tests and everything else to see really how this works and how the developers may be able to use it in their own applications. So that's another substantial piece that's being worked on. We did not highlight it too much so far, even though we've been talking about that, but that work is nearly complete now. It does need to be tested more with specific cases. And one of the approaches or one of the things we'll be doing there is to use the bonding changes in the bonding that we need to do for external validators as a test case to be able to test this registry update as a soft fork process. So that is, at the moment, that task has not started yet in terms of changes necessary for bonding of external validators. But that is second on Will's list. He's currently working on changing the calculations for random seed. Max has done the first part of that. That involves scodec, and now Will be doing the rest of it. So once he's done with that, he'll be working on this bonding changes necessary for external validators. So there's quite a bit there in terms of making progress, making the network ready for essentially validation in the wild, and being able to take care of any issues that might arise, things we might discover when we have validators in the wild. So that's all work that is going on right now. In terms of the external validators themselves, as of now, we have several that have already set up nodes on the testnet and are becoming familiar with the whole process. We'll be walking them through, or they'll be doing on their own rather, version updates, epoch changes, working through epoch changes and things like that, so that they are aware of all the different stages and the different kinds of things that would happen in the normal process of running a validator node. And they go through those steps and understand what's going on and what they're required or supposed to do. So that process is also continuing. And then separately, NetZipper has been working on the one of the external clients work to get, I mean, this is more a generic process and a tool that we can use in any application deployment, but he is working within the context of a particular project. So he will be doing a demo of that in the next couple of weeks. It's about how do you intake data from external systems to perhaps RabbitMQ, and then generate rolling deploys based on the topics in or changes in the topics in RabbitMQ, put that data on the chain, and perhaps do additional manipulation through contracts, and then be able to update back to RabbitMQ and hence on to the other external systems that may be connecting to that system on the output side. So that's the process he'll be, he's got most of it working, and he's working on the last few kinks on that overall thing. So this is more like an integration pattern, how to integrate RChain as a blockchain backend to existing systems, where you can take both input events or input data as well as put out external events and external data. So that's the piece he'll be demonstrating probably during next debrief. So Stas has been continuing work on the this binding the deploy status to the Web API, gRPC, and CLI, but also he created that RPC version with the latest bug fix for hashes, like I said earlier. Dennis has been working on Begint implementation, and that's he expects to have that probably, there's not a commitment, but his guess at this time is that sometime next week, probably end of next week, he may be able to finish that. And his PRs, his initial PR is there available for the community to review. So those are the key highlights in terms of what the team has been up to. And we're continuing to engage with external customers to move projects forward. That, I think, is all I wanted to say at this time. Are there any questions or comments on any of this? Over to you, Greg.
Thank you, Rao. Yeah, it's quite encouraging to see the progress being made. The board met on Tuesday. There were no votes taken. We have been looking carefully at a governance issue raised by Rao. So we'll be providing some additional assurances about those parties who sit on both boards to make sure that there is a clear declaration of the precedence of obligations. So we're working to get that documentation together so that will also be available in the legal folder in the GitHub for anyone who is interested in taking a look at that. Let's see. Additionally, we have a lot of activity going on with various investment groups. Can't give you any details, but if you want to know more about that, please come to the closed door session. If we also spoke with another market maker in preparation for when we have the external validators online on mainnet. So we are going to need to have much better market making if we get listed on the exchanges. So we're we have identified our key partner, but we're going to need more than one partner in this regard. So we spoke with another market maker. So any questions about that? Okay, Daryl, are you ready for the week in review?
Yep.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Here is the week in review for last Thursday, May 19th to today, May 25th. This month is just whipping by. On Friday in the Climate Coordination RCast, they discussed vulnerabilities of the energy grid in Texas and beyond, Australia's coal use, The Guardian calling for current fossil fuel sites to shut down early, and the future of governance. On Monday's Casper Stand-Up, they covered a refinement of the translation of symmetric monoidal categorical structure into row calculus and the beginning of the comparison of this to the naive treatment of quantum theory into row calculus. Hopefully I got that all right, Greg.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. On Tuesday, yesterday in the communications working group, we basically went through improving on the new changes that have been done to the website. Also on Tuesday in the DApp developer work study, it was a developers cooperative learning session. And this morning in the RChain active member hangout, Jim read from an article that he's been working on. It from Bit, Quantum Information Ecology Foundation Basics. And it's referring to John Wheeler's dilemma, how do we get it from Bit? Jim met John Wheeler when he was 90. When John Wheeler was 90, Jim isn't 90 yet. And John Wheeler told him to carry the torch. So Jim went through this article that he's been working on. And that brings us to now.
All right, thank you, Daryl. I have some good news, which is that, sorry, Fiber is ready to go for her next walk. The REV trademark has been issued by the U.S. Patent Office. So anybody else using REV in the jurisdictions where we have applied is in violation of trademark law. That makes it for global services that have availability in the U.S. that would make those folks also in violation of trademark law. So we will be sending out notices to a variety of folks who are using REV in violation of our trademark. Any questions about that? All right. In addition, we will be. I've asked to price out the setup to run the 8 node, 16 node, 32 node with shards or networks with where each node has either 8 CPU or 16 CPU or 32 CPU respectively. So that we can set up the scaling experiment, but also so that we can document it clearly, so we can have third parties verify and validate our scaling characteristics. The last thing we want is for there to be any question about the experimental setup. So we want to document that as clearly as possible, and then have others verify the results. Just like science, amazing, isn't it? So any questions about that? Okay, very good. Well, if that's it, then I thank everyone for their time and attention. Please stay safe, enjoy the spring, and we will see you on the other side.